ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nerdverse podcast, where we are back in the wide multiverse of all things comics, cinema, pop culture, and all things nerdy. I am your host, Jordan. Alongside me, my co-host, fellow enthusiast, and sadly, unfortunately, my younger brother, Josh.
Thank you for that warm introduction, Jordan. It has been a long time coming, hasn't it? It is an absolute pleasure to finally be here.
Finally.
Right.
Finally, after what seems to have been almost 10 years of us saying that we should do this. Our history can speak for itself of all of our conversations and everything just coming up to this moment. So cultivating to one big moment of finally us doing this.
Yeah, just continuously always talking, debating, always just rambling on about everything comics and stuff. It just kind of felt like it was finally time to just hit record and just let others listen to us.
Fine. Right. With that being said, I think a small introduction is in place for whoever's out there in the Nerdverse listening to us and who has decided to tune in. Welcome. This is, like we said, this is something that has been a long time coming. A little bit about ourselves. Two brothers, 6 years apart. Me being the older one, Jordan. Raised in the mid 90s to early 2000s. You, Josh, younger.
Yeah.
All right, just turned 21. Actually,
Right, yeah.
just turned 21. Congrats, happy birthday.
Thanks.
But raised in a different era. All right, raised in a different era. When we're talking about this type of lore that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Like we said already, I think they've already gotten the point. We're brothers.
Yeah,
we are brothers. We actually do share the same DNA. Not only do we look like each other and talk like each other, but we actually are blood related.
Yeah.
All right. That is no DNA testing needed on that end. But raised in South Florida. All right. And if there was nothing that ever connected us in our just normal day-to-day, it was going to be this, right? It was always going to be this type of context, right? Our comics, our films, our superheroes, our love and our undying passion for everything nerdy, everything from Star Wars and Harry Potter,
Lord of the Rings,
Lord of the Rings, like WWE. So we cannot wait to be able to finally share our experiences, share our moments, share our stories to the world, right? And our goal here and our inspiration here is to simply just join the everlasting and ever-growing community of fellow content creators and that have these same stories, and to hear their stories and to share and experience and to just expand and be a part of this nerdverse. All right, in a world where there's multiverses everywhere and there's alternate realities and dimensions and everything like that, it was our time, and it was our time.
I think that this is an opportunity for us, even though we are what I would say are experts in our field of, comics and superheroes. It's a time for us to be able to also learn a little bit, if we do have fellow listeners out there who want to talk about other things or hear about other topics, they can present it to us. We can do Q&As. We could do other things to be able to give them a chance to speak their minds as well.
Right. I think with that being said, it was always in the back of our minds that this is something that we can do, and we just everything in just life and just always kind of seem to have gotten in the way. But what better place than here? What better time than now? And the wise words of our beloved megastar, WWE superstar LA Knight. Yeah, baby. Yeah. We are finally doing it, and our goal here and our goal for this is to shoot for the stars, and we have absolutely no doubt with the absolute drive, the passion, and the dedication to this craft, and us having gotten inspiration from so many people that have done it before us, people that we have followed, people that we have followed their journeys. We have absolutely why not us, right?
Exactly.
Why not fucking us? Our goal is we want to shoot for the stars. We want to be the one at the top. All right. So with that being said, I think, how did this become something, right? Like, I think we always knew that we had a passion. We knew we could talk about all of this stuff for hours at this point, but we decided to finally press record, like how you said. We come from a family down here in South Florida where this was our thing. Our mom was pretty involved with kind of this stuff, and she enjoyed it, but never to the extent of where we went. We took it to an obsessive amount, and God bless our mom for dealing with the absolute shenanigans that was in our household, fighting over figures and comic books and movies and shows, and God, because a brother can't have his own thing without his little brother tailing behind him and saying, I want to be a part of it too. But we also come from a family of where our older sister definitely was not into this world. She was a reader.
Yeah, no.
She was reading, Lemony Snicket and Harry Potter and all this stuff. And that was where we got our inspiration from.
Exactly.
So we took a little bit of that sliver from her. And then our dad.
Best of both worlds.
Our best of both worlds. And then our dad just absolutely, fucking with us constantly. That's what he was. It was a constant fuck around between everybody because, God forbid you asked him with all sincerity who his favorite superhero was at a young age. You expect Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, something like that. He would say Conan the Barbarian. Right. Conan the Barbarian or Aquaman. And it was because of his his dumb antics that I fought tooth and nail for years on behalf of Aquaman. And I stood by that man's side with an undying passion for so long just because Dad said that he liked Aquaman, knowing decades later that he was never absolutely serious about that. So with that being said, we come from that sort of family, and we are absolutely tribal, right? Like we were raised where big into sports. All right, big football fans, we span all kind of sports, and if you like one team, you cannot like this team. Yeah. If you love, then you absolutely hate. Is that the right way to go about it? No, but it's our way of going about it. So if not, deal with it.
It's right to us.
It's right to us. Right. It is right to us. Our teams may actually be the best teams in the world, right, exactly. But God damn it, we will hate your team more than we love our own at this point. Yep. Shout out to the Miami Hurricanes. Shout out to the Miami Hurricanes and anybody that's out there that is a fan of the northern teams. We would refuse to say. Good luck.
So sorry.
So sorry in advance for the jabs. But going back to it, this was our DNA. This is the DNA. This is what runs inside of us. So we're super, super excited to get into it. We're super, super excited. We have so much planned. We have so much things for the future to come, and we cannot be more excited about it. We are launching a YouTube channel, right? We are launching social media pages. We'll get to that at the end of the pod. But with that being said, and we have that, we've spoken about our expectations of being the number one. Right. And we've spoken about how this is the dawn of a new era for us. All right. And we're going to be on the come up. All right.
Dawn of justice.
I wouldn't say about the dawn of the nerdverse. All right.
There you go.
The nerdverse, the inception of the nerdverse. Yep. We're not here to take part. We're here to take over. All right. Yeah. So being that it is the beginning of the Nerdverse podcast and the inception of that, what better place to start than the beginning, what feels like a perfect time in the cinematic universes of both DC and of Marvel, right?
Yeah.
It couldn't have been a better time. We are officially, as of the time of this recording, less than 24 hours away
from Superman,
from James Gunn's kickoff cinematic project of the DC universe, which is absolutely bonkers. It feels like it was just yesterday where we got the announcement of not only the beginning of the DCU with James Gunn and Peter Safran, but finally we put to bed the DCEU and Zack Snyder, and
rest in peace to,
the train wreck that was all of that. That was all of that. And we have so much more to talk about that when in due time.
Yeah.
But right now is we're not here to talk about the past, and we've already spoken about what we hope for the future. So let's
talk about the right now.
Let's get talking about the present right now. And I think right now, being that we are less than 24 hours away from the beginning of Superman and this new DC universe, it feels like it's a breath of fresh air for all of us. You know, we spoke about tribalism earlier with our family, and up until when I was a little bit older, it felt like, oh, well, I'm a DC guy.
Yeah.
Right. I'm a DC guy. And
clearly
being
right.
Well, then I'm an Austin guy. All right. I'm an Austin guy, and give me a hell yeah. But I'll take an ice cold beer instead. But with that being said, you know, obviously I found myself tethered a little bit more to the DC universe,
Right.
and that didn't only just span into comics and from when I was working at the comic book store when I was younger, which is something that I did for a long time. A time and period of my life that was absolutely pivotal. Not financially, of course. I was not being paid by my boss in actual dollar bills. I was actually getting paid in comic books. I was slaving away for 15 hours in a comic book store. Not like at 14, 15 years old, I'm like, child labor laws would be kicking ass and kicking down the door if I was to say the name of the place. But organizing and flooring and all that stuff like that. But
didn't you dress up as Spider-Man once?
I did. I was a party character. I was a party character. If anybody needs you know, Spooderman, you know, I think, and not Spider-Man because I'm a little spudsy at this point, but Spooderman, Sputterman, whatever your case is, you can definitely, you know, find me on our Instagram page at Nerdverse Podcast. Plug right there. But yeah, I did dress up as Spider-Man. That was during the debut of Civil War, free comic book days and all that stuff. So the things I did for these characters, but I got so much knowledge. I got so much knowledge, and it was like a dream job. And I thought at 15 years old that this was the job of my dreams, and I could absolutely do this for the rest of my life. And I had even had conversations with this 50, 60-year-old man at 15 years old asking, like, what would I need to do to be able to take this comic book strap off your hands? But
I think that, you know, you saying 15, 16-year-old, I was even younger, and I was looking at that like, wow, my brother, who's a pain in the ass, works at one of the coolest jobs ever. He's a comic book person.
Right.
And I begged him for a comic book. I finally got a comic book. It's actually on the wall right there. It's DC Rebirth.
DC Universe Rebirth. Again, another inception and jumping off point. So what a theme of just absolute jumping off points constantly with this theme.
Luckily, I didn't jump off with Convergence. You know, I got a good one.
God.
Yeah.
God.
First hot take.
Let's not talk about that series right there. I'm so sorry I subjected you to that. I think I was doing that out of spite and out of punishment. Like, oh, you want to read comic books? Here, read this shitty comic book series, all right, and go cry your eyeballs out while I go and read, you know, Kingdom Come or something like that.
Exactly.
But you know, that was a great job. You know, I think we do pretty cool jobs now.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I think our jobs are pretty cool. In the same vein, and definitely inspired from what we read, what we read in books and what we saw on television and what we've seen in movies. You know, we're first responders, right? I think, and that comes to light a lot. Yeah, that we're first responders. And myself, I'm a critical care paramedic. I work on the front lines down here in South Florida, hand in hand with fire rescue, all throughout hospitals and dealing with very, very critical situations. And you're active duty
with the Coast Guard,
in the military,
working with the oceans, kind of like a cooler Aquaman, essentially.
Oh God, I'm telling you, I will still fight for Aquaman because of what our father did to me, but definitely a hero nonetheless. And that's coming from myself. So again, thank you for your service. And not only are you here now, this is not going to be something that's permanent. We're obviously here together because you're here for a little bit. You're celebrating his 21st birthday, actually. 21st birthday. Finally legal to drink now.
Right.
Legally.
And I wasn't doing it before, of course.
Of course not. Of course not. Of course. Of course. And anybody that catches the reference of the of course. All right. You guys can send it in. But you will be stationed somewhere else across the country. All right. Yeah. We're not going to obviously say where you're going to be stationed at, but you're going to be stationed, and we will be doing this. And this is a commitment of something that we know that we're going to be doing. So, remotely. Like we said, new beginnings, new things like that. With that being said, we were talking about Superman and this being a breath of fresh air because this is the actual start to it. But on the flip side, and in 2 weeks from now, we have what feels, to me at least personally, a starting off point in the MCU, which is with
the Fantastic Four.
The Fantastic Four, correct. Super excited for that. The Fantastic Four is something that feels like it's a new breath of fresh air.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is obviously following what, in my opinion, was a very below average set of movies and shows that came from Phase 4 and Phase 5.
It had its bright spots. It had its bright spots.
It did have its bright spots. I definitely will say it had its bright spots, but I won't. But as a whole, being that what it followed, it is a hard thing to have to follow something as ambitious as Phase 1, 2, and 3, cultivating to and Infinity War and Endgame. But being that what followed it without its interconnectivity and its consistency in storytelling and in tying up loose ends, it definitely had its issues. But I don't know if it's necessarily because of the fact that it is in set in a different world. It's in somewhere in the multiverse of the MCU, or because it's finally here and it's something that we've been needing and been wanting as fans, and we have been just salivating at our tips of our tongues for something with the Fantastic Four for so long.
I think that, to go on what you're saying, I believe that when it came to the Fantastic Four, for me personally, Fantastic Four is something that as a Marvel fan, you wanted it so bad, but you wanted it at home. The same way we felt with Spider-Man for Civil War. You wanted it to be at home with where it belonged. And we had to deal with Fan Four Stick. And then we also had to deal with, just bad stigmatism around the Fantastic Four and around the Fox universe in general. Same as like the Sony universe. It almost felt like finally seeing them at home with us felt like a jumping off and a genesis point of its own with the Fantastic Four.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree. There hasn't been a lot of cinematic adaptations of the Fantastic Four. I mean, obviously we have like our very, very old, like 1960s, like show and whatever adaptation they had with that. But, with us, or with me specifically, I was able to see, the cinematic versions, all of them. And there's only been really 3, right? There's been the 2 from the Fox universe, and then the Fan Four Stick one, which would, should be thrown in an incinerator as fast as possible.
Yeah.
But
with 2011's Green Lantern, by the way.
People hate on Green Lantern so much, and that is such a hot take, and I'm sick and tired of the absolute goddamn disrespect on that Green Lantern. It is a horrible movie, yes, and I am not saying that it is not a horrible movie, but the storytelling is actually pretty decent. Like, for all of its quirks, there has been a lot. Thor: Love and Thunder is worse.
I mean, of course, but can we flame him in the comments about this? Green Lantern, really?
Flame me. I will sit here and I will fight like hell back on it. But I am gonna say it is a horrible, horrible, horrible movie. Anyway, regarding the Fantastic Four, we're sitting here and it's crazy to see that it's actually happening. And there was a lot of heat, I think, or there was a lot of just of debate on what it was going to be, right? Like, and it's a Matt Shackman, is it
Matt Shackman? Yeah.
Matt Shackman or Mac Shackman or whatever,
WandaVision director,
right? That he made it a retro futuristic movie, right?
It's like the Jetsons, kind of.
It's like the Jetsons, right? It's like the Jetsons, but with retro suits, flying cars, but incredible, from what seems to be the teaser, incredible CGI,
absolutely,
and lovely adaptation of what seems to be Galactus and everything like that. Not a cloud in the sky, Galactus.
So going on that, just to ask you, we both know, we've had this conversation before a little bit, but when you heard about the casting announcement of the Fantastic Four, specifically one person being R. Reed Richards as Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian himself, who seems to be in everything nowadays.
The multiverse of Pedro Pascal.
A little ripple inside of our nerdverse.
Right, our ripple in our nerdverse is the Pascalverse.
Yeah. But how did you feel seeing Pedro Pascal casted as the MCU's Reed Richards?
Confused. Yeah. Confused was definitely the word that I think I felt the absolute most of. It was, it's not traditionally what you envision that to be.
Yeah.
Right. There's obviously been hundreds of different adaptations of what Reed Richards looks like, with beard and, gray hair and the, the Council of Reeds and everything like that. There's been a bunch of them. We even saw John Krasinski play Reed Richards, and I would have loved to have had that adaptation actually come to fruition and come to light.
Instead of him dying in 5 minutes,
turning into Silly String. He looks like Big League Chew. Within 2 minutes of actually showing up, he looks like Big League Chew. He looks like Angel Hair Pasta. The moment that he comes on. And so I think with what I was confused. I was confused. I thought the rest of the cast was casted perfectly. I honestly do. There was a lot of I think everybody that followed the casting was obviously had their fan cast like anything, like any other project. But I do think that everybody wanted Krasinski. I think there was hoot and hollering for Zac Efron to be Human Torch. What were the other ones?
They wanted, of course, with Krasinski, Emily Blunt to be the Invisible Woman, which made sense. They did have a role together with the
Quiet Place, right?
Quiet Place, Quiet Place. They had a good role with that. I believe that there were some more obscure ones. John Cena as the Thing. I don't know if I can get behind that one personally.
No. You wouldn't be able to see him,
right?
But I think that for sure. I was confused, but I was confused in the way where I was more skeptical of okay, but how?
Yeah.
How are you going to make this work? Because it was right on the heels of The Last of Us, of him playing Joel in The Last of Us. And we're obviously massive Star Wars fans ourselves, and we love the Mandalorian project. And, he has the Mandalorian movie coming out and all this stuff. So I was confused, but and what I will say is that I'm someone personally that doesn't like to get their expectations too high anymore when it comes to these projects.
And we've debated about this a couple times.
I think that's a lot of it comes from what happened in the DCEU. And Phase 4 and Phase 5. I think I've started to temper my expectations when it comes to a lot of these projects. But I can't deny the feelings that I get when I see those trailers of how and I think that it looks fantastic. I'm so excited for that. Since we're talking about Fantastic Four, we're obviously following Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts was the last project that came out with that end credit scene. Spoiler alert. We're going to give it a few seconds for spoiler alerts. We're going to be spoiling anything like that. But God bless, if it at this point, you should have seen it already by this point, right? You should have seen it at this point. I was so goddamn late to the Thunderbolts party. I was so late. Or are they called the New Avengers?
It's true. That is true.
I hate it. I can't stand it. I can't stand that. I still can't wrap my head around it.
But you can't tell me that when you watch that, it doesn't evoke a sense of feeling when you're watching that end credit of the B Avengers and stuff. You just watch these guys go through an emotional turmoil of a movie that was really dealt in mental health. And so you kind of feel a specific way when you start seeing them get shit on. You almost feel like, you know what? God damn, these are my Avengers right now.
Not on my end. That's not my Avengers.
What's the attorney?
That's not my Avengers.
You're going to have Sam Wilson's Captain America? Is that what we're going with?
Dude, I don't even know what his team looks like right now. I don't even think he knows what his team looks like right now. But what I do know, for all that I don't know, right? But what I do know is that there was a ship that showed up at the end of Thunderbolts, and it had the Four, right? It had the Four, and the fucking Fantastic Four are here. All right. Now, we know that the Russos directed that specific scene, or they were involved in that scene, and that scene was filmed on the set of Doomsday. I believe, and I think I have that correct.
It was confirmed.
Right? It was confirmed. So with that being said, we're led to believe through the Fantastic Four trailers, that this is going to have big implications.
Right.
So my question to you is, what do you think? Where does it go from there? Is that really going to be the ship? I mean, I know people are bugging out and saying that it's, that's not the
it's the 838 Fantastic Four.
It's the 8381, or it's the Fox guys, and I heard this one. The X-Men stole the Fantastic Four ship, as if they don't have their own
X-Jet.
They don't have the X-Jet. They stole the Fantastic Four ship and are riding through the multiverse with it, or the Nerdverse. What a plug. But I've heard all of these things, and I think it's so funny.
I think that when I saw about the Fantastic Four ship, immediately it was like, oh, they're here. It's finally happening. We know it's happening. And I believe it is confirmed that the Fantastic Four is the last movie before Doomsday. So do I believe that they spoiled the end of Fantastic Four? No. I think that Fantastic Four ship has a little bit more to the story than it just being the Fantastic Four arriving to Earth. Maybe perhaps it's a certain child arriving instead on the ship.
You referring to Nathaniel? Like Nathaniel Richards?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's a possibility of
You think they just fucking Clark Kented him and they just sent him in a ship by himself?
Well, I mean, the alternative is they all left.
The irony of that, I mean, if that is actually in the irony that the Superman movie is actually like right on its heels, I bet, oh God, people are going to fucking lose their minds if that's actually the case right there. I have no idea. I really don't. I have zero, and that's part of the fun about this.
Yeah.
I know we talk about this a lot in WWE, right? Like knowing that it's scripted and knowing that like all of these, we can possibly see the outcomes, but like I know that we always are like,
but damn it, we still love it.
But we love it. But we love it because we love the not knowing.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're very anti-spoiler. We're very like anti that. We love the surprise aspect of it. And there's so many of that we can get through, and we can get into this. So,
and before we go on about that, speaking about WWE, I know that you copied some inspiration from a certain greatest luchador of all time, Dominic Mysterio with the mustache. I'm, starting to see that a little bit.
Daddy Dom, the greatest luchador behind El Grande Americano. Actually, behind El Grande Americano. Gracias, everybody. Gracias. I love it. My mustache is. Not only is it so much better than yours, but I think it's up there with some of the best. I think it really is.
Okay.
Besides the fact that yours looks like that you shouldn't be outside of a Chuck E. Cheese, I think that mine's is really, really, really good.
Okay.
But we'll let the people decide. So
yeah, let us know.
We'll let that be decided. Regardless, coming back into it, spoke about Fantastic Four. We spoke about where it could possibly lead to, all right, and what are the possibilities of that. Me personally, I think that the possibility of the Fantastic Four coming over into we know that it's going to happen.
Yeah,
like we obviously know that's going to happen. It's going to lead to Doomsday. How that Doomsday leads into Secret Wars, I don't actually know. I don't know that, but I think if I sit long enough with enough caffeine and a dark wall, I can probably come to an idea of how it actually happens. Yeah. But I do know, and I do believe that world that we're about to go see in about 2 weeks right now, the world that Matt Chapman had created,
it's unlike anything we've ever seen before. 100%.
And I think that we're gonna get a little taste of it for however long that movie is. And that shit is going to be fucking swallowed like a goddamn pill by Galactus. I think that Galactus is going to rain hell and high fury on that shit, and he's going to swallow it.
As he should.
And I think that it's going to lead to massive implications. Understanding the Reed Richards character from its history, he's the guy that has the answer for everything. And for him, like in that trailer, like I know you quote that part of a lot.
I don't know. Absolutely. It's a bone-chilling moment.
Yeah, like to hear the smartest man in the world say, I don't know if we're in danger or not.
I'm waving the white flag already.
I'm calling on a higher being to come and ready and take me at that point. But to have something like that, I think that they're going to leave.
Yeah.
I think they come and they cross the multiverse. And I think that they come into our 616 universe. And I think that they'll probably be coming, or someone else will be following, or maybe taking advantage of the portal that has been opened by either Reed Richards or somebody else has opened up that portal.
And they have taken advantage of it.
And I think if we're going to refer to that person, I think
might as well just refer to him.
It's probably going to be Beast from the Marvels.
Yeah.
Was that where you were going with that?
No, I was going to say Doctor Doom, who, the movie is actually named after.
I have no idea. I'm so lost when it comes to that, and it's so exciting. I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea how that's going to work out. But with that being said, on the other end of the spectrum, right? We've spoken about Fantastic Four, but that's still 2 weeks. We still have a few more weeks and a few more days to get ourselves ready and prepared for that. But what we don't have enough time for is that in less than 24 hours, we are going to be seeing the inception of the DCU with Superman, right? And reviews are already piling in. All right, for people that have earlier screenings, the embargo or whatever has been lifted already,
Yeah.
and nothing but positives. 9 out of 10s. We're not reading into any spoilers or anything like that, but everything, it couldn't have been more of a positive experience. And for someone like me who doesn't necessarily find the character of Superman interesting, I've never in my entire life have ever invested more time, effort, and excitement into
Superman,
the character of Superman. And it is simply because of the timing, I think. With, being in a time where it was so bad for DC fans and superhero fans in general when it comes to the DCEU. And I know people, have their opinions on the Henry Cavill situation and stuff like that and how that was handled. But the colors, the score, the trailer, the way that it's been pieced together, like, I have never had more faith in a project than I have now. And it has been a long time. And like I said, I'm someone that has tempered my expectations on projects, and I am so looking forward to it. With that being said, however, a question for you, what Superman means so much to so many people. And even though, like, we talk about having never, or not never, but never having a big affinity to Superman.
Yeah, right. It's always been like Batman or somebody else.
Right. I was there at midnight to go see Man of Steel. It's something that we've done.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
So a little bit backstory. Josh and I, since we were younger, we would have our parents drop us off at midnight premieres, where we would sit in line for hours. I think our record was like 5.5, 6 hours to go see Suicide Squad. Oh God, what a great record! Great thing to say until you say the actual movie that we had to go see for after that. So because it had to be midnight, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because this was in a time where movies weren't coming out at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
No, it was midnight or bust.
It was midnight or bust, and we had to be there because that's how goddamn dedicated we are to this. So trust me, we're in it for the long run. We're here for hell and high water.
Yep.
But every single project, Marvel, DC, anything like that, Star Wars, we were there. We were going to be there. So I remember seeing the Superman movie, the Man of Steel movie. I'm sorry.
Great movie. I love that movie.
But even then, like, it's still, like, I love my characters with something, like, with an edge. That, like, I don't like the perfect altruistic, like God-like thing. Like, if you're so perfect, like, what is there to flaw you about? And the only person that I ever liked that was like that was Dr. Manhattan, but he was so stalemate, and so stoned, and so like just baseline.
He was like a stoic character.
Stoic, like, perfect word. Like he was so stoic that, like, that was what made me interested about it. Like, why are you so, like, bleh if you're all of this?
Yeah.
And so for Superman, like, I never had an affinity to it. Would I read it? Absolutely. Do I know the lore? Absolutely. Will I watch the things that come out of it in the shows and all that stuff like that? I watched Smallville. I did all that thing.
Did you watch the CW show?
The Superman and Lois?
Yeah. It's okay. You can be honest.
No, I refuse to participate in the CW. That's the only wrinkle in the nerdverse that I'm like, absolutely, that is all you, my friend. That is all you. But with that being said, my question to you is, for you, what is your personal, like, best Superman moment or most memorable Superman moment for you?
That is a loaded question. I think that the best Superman moment for me, it did come from Man of Steel. I think that the moment where I felt like, wow, like, that's so moving. That's like such an amazing situation was actually not a Superman moment. It was a Clark Kent moment after the entire film had already finished. It was Lois and Clark talking, and finally we had
What film? I'm sorry?
Man of Steel.
In Man of Steel?
Yeah, and we got to see Clark and Lois, who obviously knew that they were each other. She knew he was Superman. He obviously had a relationship, and him being able to be, hi, I'm Clark, and he's working at the Daily Planet. It felt like we went through this whole movie of Superman having to deal with not very much Superman things, almost being like, yes, you're an outcast, but like more, it felt like he was an alien in that movie rather than being so humanistic. And that felt like a moment of humanity and humanistic. And it felt very much like a Superman moment. That to me hit hard, I think, because when I was younger, you actually got me on Superman the animated series, and that's I think why
Best.
this is
Awesome.
This new Superman feels so great to me, is because my favorite Superman comic was All Star Superman, and it just feels ripped right from the pages.
This is heavily inspired. I mean, I've been consuming any that like again, like so out of character for me and with regards to this character specifically, but I've been consuming everything that I have about this new film. But I think for me, probably the best Superman moment, and it is bonkers. It is bonkers to probably say would probably be in this trailer.
Oh,
in this trailer.
Okay.
I think in this Superman trailer, I know the movie hasn't even come out yet, so I know that this is just absolutely odd. And I'm speaking on someone that has consumed so much comics and everything like that. Like I love All-Star Superman,
right.
and I love like Superman Red Sun, and I love all of these things. But I think personally, like Kingdom Come, he was fantastic, and I love how he was written in Kingdom Come. But to me personally, I think I have never gotten like, if someone was to say and speak about, like, people always refer to this feeling that they get when speaking about Superman, like this feeling of, and it's always usually coupled with like with hope and all this stuff. But my personal moment was in this trailer, in the official trailer of the DCU's Superman, the one that we're about to go see. And I remember watching the trailer with just nothingness, like just like, oh, like here we go. Like I'm excited because it's the beginning of DCU, but it's Superman. Like okay, like whatever. But the specific moment where, and I do know, but it's the score is just, it does something.
Yeah.
And it's John Williams at its finest. Like it's John Williams, and it's just this beautiful blend of nostalgia from the Superman that I watch. I remember, our mom taking me to Blockbuster to go get Superman, the Christopher Reeve Superman, the first one. And this is how, like, I was like a young kid. I was a young kid, and I remember crying and calling her on the house phone because I was being babysat, and I remember calling her saying, when is this guy gonna put on his Superman mask? Like believing that like Superman wasn't just Clark Kent, like he was just gonna put on like where is it? Like where is it? Like where like, and not understanding the duality of like Superman is the person, and Clark Kent is the cover up, in the disguise, and the alter ego. That didn't hit home to me. But being a father myself, and having a 4-year-old, especially being a frontline worker and dealing with people on their absolute worst days, and seeing what hope does to people, I yearned to feel that kind of feeling. And I know we spoke about it earlier with mental health and everything like that, and we're big proponents of mental health. As people that you and I have both struggled with mental health, we can understand the obstacles that it presents itself with.
Yeah.
But in a time where it felt rough for me, and that movie came out, that trailer came out, and I saw that little boy in that trailer, and anybody that's seen the trailer knows exactly what I'm talking about. But that little boy in the midst of what seems to be a war, and he's
clinging to hope,
raising up a flag while everything is going awry with him, and he shuts his eyes and he's holding on to that flag, or that flag, because it's a flag of Superman's logo that seems to be just made in like dirt and ash and shit, whatever it is. And in his darkest moments, he closes his eyes, he clutches onto that flag with everything he has, and he's just calling for Superman. He's not yelling Superman. He's sitting there and he's just under his breath, just calling for Superman. I get goosebumps thinking about it right now, because to me, this is what Superman is. this is what Superman means to people.
Right.
And as a father, I can only imagine that feeling in my son if he needed somebody, if he needed that. Like, I want my son to be able to have that sense of hope. And in his moments, he can look to his dad and he can have that moment of hope and know that his dad is here and his dad is clutching on. And I needed that moment of hope in that time. So when I got that taste of it, nothing needed to come out after that. Not a single trailer, not a single poster, not a single anything. I knew I'm buying my ticket. I'm going to do that. And honestly, and I think Kevin Smith has said it the best. I will pay top dollar multiple times for something to make me feel something.
Right. Absolutely.
I don't need bombastic, explosions. I don't need cool costumes. But if you can fucking make me feel something, you got my money.
Yeah.
You got my money. I know I rambled on there, get all choked up and sorrow down a little bit and stuff like that. But really, I think that was my Superman moment. So if that was just in the fucking trailer, I'm so excited to see what it does to me and how it impacts me when we go and see it.
Okay. So no better time than now to ask this question, considering that by the next time that we are sitting here, we would already seen the movie. So before the movie comes out, do you believe that David Corenswet has what it takes to be the best live action Superman of all time?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. That comes at the expense of me having 1,000,000% trust in James Gunn. And after hearing all the interviews and hearing all of the stuff that James Gunn has done, and David going on record and saying what the casting process was like. First of all, James Gunn deserves all the trust in the world after everything he's done already. I think that he's
never made anything less than a banger.
Like motherfucker, I loved Scooby-Doo when he made it back in the early 2000s. Like, Scooby-Doo was awesome to me at that point. He made that, or he wrote it, or whatever the hell it was.
He really did.
But Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, 3 and the holiday special were bangers.
Probably the best. Maybe a hot take, but probably the best trilogy that the MCU made.
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
Yeah.
It's definitely up there. It with those three and the holiday special and Peacemaker, Suicide Squad, like the guy has not really missed on anything. And for him to be helming the entire DC universe, and then for him not only to just say, "Oh, I'm going to do Superman," like, he's writing it, he's producing it, he is directing it. I have the utmost trust in him, but God fucking damn it, bro. Look at David Corenswet.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, he looks like Superman. Not only does he look like Superman, but like
the comparisons of him to Christopher Reeves.
And like
uncanny.
People, and when you have like shorts and stuff like that I've been seeing on Instagram that are like, kids love him and he's being like, dude, he doesn't just look like Superman. He is Superman. Like, he is Superman. And so, like, this is not just the guy that is wearing, the S on his chest.
Yeah.
This is the guy that is going to be the front line of eventually a Justice League. Yeah. That's going to be at the helm of probably going face to face with some of our biggest foes in the DC universe, with Darkseid or Brainiac or whatever the hell the case is. Dude, yeah. Does he have what it takes? Sure. If it's anything like the goddamn trailer is, and I know that, like, there's been times where trailers have been, subpar to what have been better than what the movie seems to be. But yeah, I mean, I loved Henry Cavill. I thought Henry Cavill was great for the era, or for this type of universe that they wanted to do.
Absolutely. A Zack Snyder-ish type universe.
Right. But I think that David absolutely has what it takes. And honestly, until he proves me otherwise, or the performance is not well or anything like that, which I think is going to be hard, I have no doubt. I think he absolutely has what it takes to be Superman.
Okay. And talking about, the fact that, as we spoke about earlier, you are considered more of a DC fan. One of those biggest reasons that I remember from as young as I was always the fact that you like more complex, darker characters that feel a little bit more grounded.
Give me the depressed motherfuckers. I want them. I want my team.
So with that being said, this universe it doesn't feel like any of those things. It doesn't feel campy, but there's crypto, for God's sakes. Did we ever think we were going to see crypto in live action? And I just want to know, how do you feel about the fact that a Superman movie, a standalone Superman movie, has not only Crypto, but it has a Green Lantern and more obscure characters that we never thought we would see, like Metamorpho and Mr. Terrific. Like, these are characters that it almost feels like James Gunn put his hand into a cookie jar and just kind of was like, oh, here, let's take them out.
Yeah.
And I just want to know, how does that make you feel, and what's your anticipation of going into that?
Oh, well, being that, you know, my father raised me to love obscure characters that nobody else liked, like
Right, yeah, like Conan,
like Aquaman, and what was his other one? He loved I loved Aquaman, and it was
Conan,
Shazam, like he was like, oh, Shazam, whatever the hell it was. And Howard the Duck, like those guys, the Green Hornet, like all guys I absolutely hated. So like I had to like undyingly defend, like we said. Did I ever? How do I feel? I think it works. I really do think it works. Did I ever expect Crypto? Absolutely not. Am I happy he's here? Yeah, because I think listen, if anybody's gonna make animals lovable or obscure things that are not humans, like, it's gonna be James Gunn, right? Exactly. Like he did it with GI Robot and Creature Commandos. He's made us love all the Creature Commando guys, the monsters. He made Groot, Rocket, like all of these guys. He even, what was the dog's name in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Cosmo.
I was gonna say Comet. Cosmo's even beloved. Right. So if anybody's gonna do it, then it's gonna be him, right? And I do love the idea of kind of loosely taking the idea of using like your C-list characters, your D-list characters to build your universe up, and not necessarily throwing your big hitters at the wall initially. Like in the MCU, we didn't get Spider-Man and all of these guys at the rip. We got Iron Man, and like Iron Man was a C-list character, bro. Like James Gunn decided to take on a team of absolute D-list characters. Like working at the comic book store, I remember personally seeing Rocket Raccoon's first ever appearance with his stupid little like space helmet, like with a spacesuit, and filing that in the dollar bins. Yeah, like insane.
And those were the comments that you let me get because I couldn't touch any of your comics.
No. If we were gonna get the same comic, then I'm gonna sit there and I'm not. One, you're never gonna get a variant cover, but I'm also gonna make sure that I look at that like as if I'm CGC, and you're gonna get, if I got a 10 and there's a 9.9, I'm getting the 10. Yeah. If there was a 9.9, I you know what? Sometimes even if you fucking crimpled a dog ear of it, or there was a little crease on the spine, that's Josh's. Yeah, that's Josh's. No, Jordan's not getting that one. Yeah.
It's called brother tax.
Right. Brother tax. There's dad tax and brother tax. I'm like living like fucking Uncle Sam right now on all these taxes.
It's better than living like Uncle Ben.
Rip. Anyway, the idea of that, God, just that was fucked up, man. There's no reason to have gone there. Every character can come back to life, but
except Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben is the only
Uncle
character.
Ben will never ever come back alive. Shit, we didn't even get him in the MCU. But to answer your question with Crypto and all of this stuff like that, you know, I love the idea that we're getting Mr. Terrific. I love the idea of getting Green Lantern. You know, I'm the biggest Green Lantern geek ever. Am I happy that it's Guy Gardner?
I am.
I mean, I am now. Yeah. I am now. I think it's gonna be really, really fun. Yeah. I think he adds a complexity and he adds a contrast to the movie. We got Hawk Girl. We got and that's really it. It's not even the Justice League or the Justice Society of America.
The Justice Gang.
It's like a Justice Gang, whatever. But how do I feel about it? I'm excited, man. Like I said, I have undying trust in James Gunn. At this point, until he proves me wrong, I'm ready to go. I'm locked in. He's got my money on everything right now.
James Gunn supporters.
With James Gunn supporters, let's knock it out of the fucking park right there. Last thing that I want to talk about regarding the Superman movie, and then we can move on. You know, we talked about that you're in the military. Yeah. Right. And not only are you just in the military, but your job requires you to be really, really frontline active. Yeah. Like you're really, really out there, and you're not just, you know, you're putting yourself out there a lot. And like I can speak for myself and any of the frontline workers that are listening. you know, we do deal with hope, and I know we dabbled and I touched on it just a little bit when we talked about hope. But if I was to ask you, you know, what does hope mean to you, or like what does Superman mean to you? The classic answer is just like, oh, it means hope.
Hope,
but like,
yeah.
But what does hope as an essence, right, as a feeling, as a virtue, mean to you?
I think that when it comes to the word hope, I feel it's something that everybody needs. I think that in a world that, you know, it's dark, you know, there's a lot of bad things in the world. You kind of grow up in this world and think, you know, there's a lot of stuff that is messed up. You always want to look towards something of higher power. And Superman was always that. Superman was a feeling of hope, a feeling of, you know, justice and righteousness and all things good, that some people didn't like it. Kind of like how you said, you know, you liked the more complex characters and stuff like that. My favorite superhero of all time is Captain America, and Captain America kind of is in the same.
Whack.
Yeah.
Whack.
Captain America's
perfect guy again. Like, you're a guy, Mr. fucking goody two shoes.
Yeah.
And shit.
He's in the same vein as Superman in the sense of, you know, truth and justice in the American way. And I think that, to me, that was something that I carried into my actual life. And I said, well, you know, if they can do it, why can't I? It doesn't have to be, you know, I don't have to fly and, you know, be able to beat up bad guys. But if I can make one person feel a sense of hope, relief, or knowing that they were rescued, or maybe even put a damn smile on their face, that, to me, that's the reason why I do what I do.
Yeah, 100%. And very relatable. I mean, very relatable for me. I mean, I think that's what it is. You know, speaking, you know, a little bit on, you know, the mental health and what we do as jobs. And I think people have a little bit of they can have an assumption of what we actually do. But, you know, we're dealing with people on some of their shittiest and worst days of their life. And if we're able to sit here and put a smile on their face and make them forget or make them feel a little bit better, then we know that we've done our job. All right. It doesn't necessarily need to be, you know, moving mountains to be able to do something for someone, but a little bit of gratitude, a little bit of respect, a little bit of hope. That's all the recipe is. Those are the ingredients that need to be successful. Right. And that's why I got my tattoo on my leg. Right. You know, you can be your own superhero, you know, as much as we are for, we love our characters that are behind us and in front of us and in our hearts.
They really felt like almost a blueprint kind of for the way that we were going to lead our lives.
100%.
Always wanted to be our own superheroes.
100%. 100%. You know, so we've spoken a lot about Superman. We've spoken a lot about Fantastic Four, and we've spoken a little bit about ourselves. You know, with that being said, our plan going forward is we're going to get this on a weekly basis. All right. Our hopes is that we can be able to get on Spotify, Apple Music, that we can get on YouTube. All right. We've already, like we said, we made a YouTube channel. We have Instagram. We're working on an X page. All right. That we can be dropping the links on, and hopefully that you guys can be listening and or watching on all social media platforms, following us for updates and all of everything. Like we said, it may be rough at first. All right. But we are going to take this thing and we're going to ride it till the wheels fall off, and we're going to take this to the top. And that's the only place that we can go. Right.
Famous words of my favorite wrestler, CM Punk. Best in the world at what we do.
The best in the world. Yeah. To the guy who can't even beat John Cena. Heel's Cena run is cooking right now. It's cooking right now. I'm a big fan of the Cena heel run. I think that is he's gonna drop he's gonna have to turn face. And for anybody that's listening doesn't understand that John Cena is actually like a bad guy now, and that we can see him. We're hoping that he becomes a good guy soon, and I think that that's in the plans. Right?
It's coming, and heel Cody is going to cook.
Cody.
That's gonna cook.
My son is gonna lose his goddamn mind. I mean, my son, his heart shattered when Cody Rhodes lost the WWE title.
Undying loyalty to Cody Rhodes.
Undying loyalty to Cody Rhodes. Like Cody, like I could be standing in front of him, and Cody Rhodes is right there, and he's gonna walk right the hell past me, and he's gonna go to Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is his superhero. Cody Rhodes is his Superman. We're open to any sort of suggestions. We're open up to any comments. We would love to hear feedback on anything. So please we have thick skin enough. He's had to be my brother for 21 years now. For 21 years now. So trust me, we could take it. All right. Is there anything else?
No,
You have any little fun facts right before we head out? All right. And the last thing that I want to talk about, I posed a challenge for you.
Oh, okay.
I've posed a challenge for you.
These are great.
Yeah, love this. I posed a little quiz for you.
Oh, okay.
All right. Real quick, rapid fire. Favorite Marvel moment, favorite DC moment, favorite Star Wars moment, and it has to be cinematically. Go.
Cinematically?
Yep.
Okay, so favorite Marvel moment, easily seeing Spider-Man in Civil War. That nothing beat that for me. Spider-Man is my guy. He's always been my guy. Even though you have the tattoo of him, I didn't get that. I didn't go that far, but Spider-Man is my guy. And so seeing him finally, kind of like what I spoke about with the Fantastic Four, coming home, that just felt right. Underoos. Yeah, that was just a moment. DC wise,
crazy moment.
Still get chills every time I watch the ending monologue of The Dark Knight. Where's he running, Dad?
Oh,
nothing.
Because we have to chase him.
Yeah, nothing can beat that to me. That was just because it did. It felt like a moment which wasn't a superhero moment. It almost felt like this is somebody who's really just like, he's sacrificing everything.
Right.
For people that don't even like him, don't even respect him, don't even know him. And to me, that there was just nothing that felt better. As far as Star Wars, oh, that's hard. I think that as much as I would like to say that it's the, Anakin and Obi-Wan, I have the higher ground, that feels like such a basic answer.
That is a basic ass
answer. So I'm going to go with...
Great moment, but basic ass
I'm going to go with another moment that absolutely had me in the theater jumping up and down, and that is in Rogue One. When we finally got to see...
Cooked. Everybody got smoked by Darth Vader. Oh man,
Vader just came in and he just took everyone out. And you know what? It was like a yes, finally. Give us a rated R Vader film right now.
Right now.
Dude, absolutely.
It
made me feel something.
The things I would do to get a rated R. First of all, rated R Star Wars movie, but like a rated R
Vader.
Dude, who would even direct that? Who would direct a rated R, like
James Wan?
It's fucking Saw. Like it's just Saw. Like it's just you have 5 minutes to get off the Empire.
Now, am I able to pose a question for you on this, other side of that?
Mm-hmm.
Really quickly, what is your least favorite Marvel, DC, and Star Wars moment? And it has to be cinematically.
I was really expecting to really go on my favorite moments.
No.
But really, you threw that shit on my head.
Yeah.
How about this? I'll let you. I'll answer yours, and then we'll answer each other's back. Okay. So we'll do the reciprocal of it all. Fuck. My worst MC. Can I just say a whole project? It's a whole thing. My worst Marvel moment.
Yeah.
It'll be hard to say something like MCU related because even on their most lowest points, except for whatever that last Taika Waititi Thor film was.
I don't know what you're talking about. Honestly, I
have no idea. I have no idea. I just blanked out. I think I just had a stroke
completely
for a second.
Just took it from my mind like Dumbledore with Pennicide, and that was it. It was gone.
But Fan Four Stick was really, really bad. Like seeing the reveal of Doctor Doom, and he looked like a T800 or what is it? Like a T200 or whatever the hell is. Like the silky kind of metal, like metalized.
Yeah, it's fantastic. No, it's not.
No,
nothing about that.
No, nothing was fantastic. Like the thing being naked, but also literally the size of a fucking building. Like, dude, he looked like a mountain, like literally like a mountain, and he was being weaponized by the military. That's probably like that really, and ironically, it's not because we were speaking about it, but like God, I cannot stand that moment.
Bad moment.
The worst DC moment.
I think we could say a movie for this because there's quite a bit.
So a lot of people will shit on Green Lantern. A lot of people will shit on Green Lantern. Maybe it's just because I'm just so, like I said, tribal to Green Lantern.
Right. Yeah.
But I would probably say the Flash movie. I think
the Flash movie.
I think the Flash movie, but like if it was a most like DC moment, like the Convergence series, I absolutely didn't like the Convergence series, like the comic book series at all. There's a lot of comic book moments that I can really go into, but we said cinematically, so but fuck. Oh, anything CW. Like anything CW probably related. I think like I peeped a little bit of like Legends of Tomorrow and like the fact that like the Spectre was Green Arrow and like fuck, I can't, bro. I can't. Probably something, but really the Flash movie with like Ezra Miller, like I think it really threw expectations in, and it felt almost to me disrespectful to what Michael Keaton had built up for Batman all those years ago, and how fundamental he is to Batman lore.
Yeah.
And as someone that is a big Batman fan, I like not like was his role fine, like sure, but and I understand what the point of that was, but to have such, first of all, the drama that was surrounding Ezra Miller and that movie coming out because of what he was going on in his personal life in Hollywood was just insane.
Yeah.
But like as a movie and like the CGI and like all of the stuff, like it was just really awful. I really did not like that movie, but I also didn't like what they did, and the fact that Michael Keaton's Batman was associated with that. Like I understand Ben Affleck's Batman was associated with it, but like it feels almost like permissible because that's their Batman, right? Yeah. Like, but the fact that Michael Keaton, like a living legend, like that is to some people the best Batman that has ever donned the cowl.
Yeah.
That felt disrespectful, and I wasn't with it at all. So that's probably one of my worst moments. And like, dude, and so and I honestly I'm surprised that like he even greenlit the idea of, but like that maybe a specific moment is probably seeing how like he like was like, yeah, like I'm Batman, like like what, like dude, that is such like he has ridden off that idea. Like he's done like commencement speeches at like top Ivy League schools, and he's like
with more enthusiasm.
With more enthusiasm, like I'm Batman. Like he believes that he is Batman. Like Danny DeVito just did an interview I saw with Variety, I believe, with Colin Farrell, who just did and they were talking about like and banter. Like they are the only two cinematic, other than Burgess Meredith, who's not here anymore. But like those two who have been their Batmans, like their Penguins. I'm sorry, like Danny DeVito firmly believes that he is the best Penguin to have ever done it.
Right.
And that's fair. And he's entitled to that opinion. But like Michael Keaton firmly believes in his heart and his soul of soul that if he is to go down and be remembered for anything, it's not going to be Birdman. It's not going to be a lot of any of the other things that he did back in the mid 80s, but it's going to be Batman.
Yeah.
And so to have him do that and then just to be like, I'm Batman. Like, I wasn't with that at all. And my worst Star Wars moment, I think a lot of people like hate the prequels, and the prequels were my Star Wars. Like I know we were talking about eras and stuff like that.
Right,
like, I remember with Dad going to Blockbuster again. Shout out to Blockbuster, really. Like
I've never been
Blockbuster. But I remember going to Blockbuster and seeing A New Hope with Dad.
Yeah,
and like asking him all these questions and being so like enthralled with this universe and Yoda and everything like that. Like again, out of all characters, like this is again going back to how pathetic our dad was with this stuff. Like you would think like, oh, Darth Vader's the best character and he would hype up Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan. No, Dad, who is the best character? Like who do you like? I like C-3PO. And that's why, God damn it, to this day, C-3PO is my favorite fucking character in Star Wars. Like I cried when they wiped his memory. I'm like, God damn it.
He's not gonna remember all the memories we had.
Like, God damn it. Like I'm the only one that has the memory of this right now. So shout out to Dad for setting me up for fucking failure in this aspect. But but going back into it, so like, yeah, the originals are the originals.
Yeah.
Nobody can debate that. The prequels are what came out during my time.
Yeah.
Right. Like I was there. I went to go see my mom, our mom, I'm sorry, dressed me up as Darth Vader. I was 9. This had to be like 2005. So I was probably 9, 10, 11 years old or something like that. And dude, I had my flick lightsaber that you would like that. And the lightsaber would come up and we would get Target. Brother, this is how I know you're young. We had Toys R Us that I would be going to. Shout out to Jeffrey, Jeffrey the giraffe. We would, and literally that is a core memory.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait to do that with my son. I had the mask. I had the voice changer. I had a lightsaber. I had like literally I would wear all black and I had it. And I remember sitting in the very, very first row of Revenge of the Sith in 2005. And that was the first time, like, dude, like I didn't know what cosplaying was at that point. I didn't know that. I don't even think cosplaying was like a thing back then. You just did it. And you obviously like people are acceptable of it because you're like a little kid and doing it. But that was a great time. So what I'm trying to get to is that like I watched the whole movie and like the Darth Vader mask was like killing me, so I had to take it off. But I still did it dramatically, like how he did in Return of the Jedi when he's like like that. But so those were mine. So yeah. I have an affinity to them, so I don't really rank on them that much. But these new sequels, I believe that they're deemed the sequels, episode 7, 8, and 9, Force Awakens, and so on and so forth. Got a lot of heat. Yeah. I mean, they got a lot of heat, especially Last Jedi. They got a lot of heat. But ironically enough, I have a really great moment for them. Like in that trilogy, there was a specific quote that I really, really love. But what I absolutely did not like, and again, I found it absolutely disrespectful, and I know the vast majority of people will always agree with me, is the idea that Rey, because of the fact that she was trained for like a fucking week by Luke Skywalker, and that she hugged Princess Leia once or twice or whatever, and she did like a journey to go find Skywalker and all this stuff. Like, yeah, and I get it. Like, you get an affinity, you get attached through trauma and all this stuff like that. But the fact of the matter is that last name Skywalker means something, and that last name Skywalker holds reverence, and not only reverence, but power and affinity and lore and legend and all of this stuff in the galaxy and throughout the galaxies in Star Wars lore. And for her to just
throw it around,
be on Tatooine and just give herself that name and just be like, I'm Rey Skywalker. Like, first of all, you don't know who you are. Yeah. Like, you don't know who you are. Like,
you're a Palpatine.
Like you're a Palpatine, right? Like, you're a Palpatine. And honestly, it would have been a lot better and almost like a big, like, fuck you to the Emperor if she would have
taken that name.
And she would have taken that name and done something to change the fate of what that name means. Like, Palpatine doesn't have to mean
this,
like the Emperor. Like, it doesn't have to mean Emperor Palpatine, but I can do something about it.
Absolutely.
But to just be like looking at an orange like lightsaber, like, first of all, okay, like, whatever, cool.
I think it was yellow,
whatever the case was.
Lightsaber.
But to just be like asked by some lady, and it just seems like it was just poor writing. Like, who are you? And she's like, I'm Rey Skywalker, or whatever the fuck it was, like Rey Skywalker. Like, dude, my theater,
give me my money back.
My theater booed. My theater lost their shit, like, not in a good way. Like, No Way Home was a complete opposite, where everybody was popping off and shit was going off. But like this, like, people were booing it, and I firmly was on that train too. I absolutely hated that moment. And then I think on the end of it, like, so back to you, like, what are your worst moments?
Definitely my worst moment in the MCU comes from Thor: Love and Thunder. You know, I think
classic.
I, tattooed to the nines with Greek mythology all over me. I had such high hopes. You're going to Olympia, you're going to see the gods, and we see one real god being Zeus, and he gets nerfed like out of nowhere. But then, like, the other gods, you have a chance to see Poseidon, Ares, all these huge characters. But no, we got a dumpling god. Really, like, we got a dumpling god.
Sun god.
Yeah, we got sun god.
We did see the god of in the Black Panther, like the original Black Panther.
Yeah, so we saw that. Cool. We got one out of like 20. That was terrible for me. That was horrible. everything about that movie. Eat my hammer. Stop. Just stop. Just, put the hammer down, perhaps, and just go to home.
Go home, Jane. You're drunk.
I think, yeah.
You're drunk. No, Jane, you're actually dying.
Yeah.
Like, actually, so how about you just sit the fuck down?
Yeah.
How about that?
I think going to DC world of it, Man of Steel, like we said, I loved Man of Steel. I think Man of Steel was great. Batman versus Superman, theatrical, Ultimate Edition was a great movie. That might be a hot take, but Ultimate Edition of Batman vs. Superman is actually an amazing time. However, Joss Whedon's Justice League, I was so upset. Just seeing Superman, do you bleed? I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I was like, just
no,
stop.
That's honestly that's up there. That's up there with one of the worst ones.
I was just like, just stop. You made an iconic
Shit, man.
moment.
That could actually be fucking better than the one that I said.
I was like, you made an iconic moment. Like the "Tell Me, Do You Bleed" thing was such an iconic moment because it was man versus God.
I loved that segment. That whole like
of "You're not brave, men are brave." Great. And you took that moment and you shit on it. It felt disrespectful to me. I did not like that. And then for Star Wars, it has to be the same one as you. The Rey Skywalker thing just felt so foreign, so forced. It just felt so out of place in that moment. I think exactly what you said. I think that she should have taken the name Palpatine and done good with it. And it would have been wow, like you really are changing the stigma of Palpatine rather than take the Skywalker name and almost tarnish it, which it didn't need to be touched.
100%.
So I think that those are my moments.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
They make me angry. Just
they piss me off.
They piss me
the hell off. And then I think for best moments with those three following me, I think the definitely 100% the Star Wars moment, since we're just on talking about Star Wars, and we're gonna wrap this up. But I think for me personally, like how we said, the best moment for me, it's hard not to say that it's the final act of the finale of season 2 of Mandalorian, where Luke Skywalker is revealed to be the Jedi that came to rescue Grogu, and he is just fucking I know we lost our shit for Rogue One, but holy shit, I did damage. When I saw that. I was losing my fucking marbles.
Came out on Christmas too, I believe.
Yeah. Something like Merry fucking Christmas. Here it is. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. But I and besides that, I do think that like I referenced earlier, there was a moment in for all shitty that the sequels were. There was a moment specifically in I believe The Last Jedi, which is actually the worst one of all of them. But there was a moment where Kylo and I love the character of Kylo, like for what it is.
Yeah.
But there was a moment between Kylo and Rey where he tells Rey, let the past die, kill it. It's the only way to become who you were meant to be.
Yeah.
And I really felt like that resonated deeply with, like, at some point, you can make mistakes, you can do all these things, but sometimes you just have to let go of the past. Like your traumas, all the hurt, all the negativity, sometimes you just have to be able to let it go. And once you're able to do that and you're able to bury it and you're able to just end the suffering that you have with yourself and get control of yourself, you can become the best version of yourself. When you stop with the excuses and stuff like that, then you can become the best version of yourself.
There's definitely a tattoo waiting to happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
I already,
like, once I heard that, I was like, that needs to get on a needle with some ink, and that needs to go right across my body somewhere. So I would really love that moment, but I think the actual moment in and of itself is the moment where, and it's just as a kid, that was my first moment was when in A New Hope, like at the end, like the final moment when the Millennium Falcon actually comes to show and Han never left and Han stayed and Han like saved Luke and Luke was able to get that shot, like, and he took out Darth Vader. That was my big like fuck yeah, like hurrah moment where like I was just like like I punching the air and stuff like that, like looking at my dad like and being like that, and he's like, oh, it wasn't C-3PO, so I don't like it. So like bull stuff like that. It's a trap. And I think for Marvel, it's very hard to say, like I said, earlier, we came up in different eras.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a recurring theme with us.
Yeah.
But my era, you know, you spoke about it, was my favorite moment comes in. There's a lot in Endgame, for example. There's a lot in Infinity War. There's a lot, but to me, before you were born, born, I do remember going with mom and Ashley, our sister, to go see Spider-Man, like the 2002 Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire one. I remember going to see it. I remember the mall that we went to go see the movie at the movie theater at. I remember the feeling of it. I remember after the movie climbing on stuff, walking to the car. Like I remember those moments. Yeah, literally. I remember those things.
Yeah.
And that was my Spider-Man. That is my Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And obviously, once that ended, we got in 2012, or 2010, whatever the case was, we got Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, and we got that new rebooted,
which was my Spider-Man,
which was your Spider-Man, right? And then as we got older and we started coming more and more together about it, we had Tom Holland come in. And so there was a moment in No Way Home, I think, that when all three of them are together for the first time. And it's not like when the portals open up, really. It's more so like once they're donned and it's in the final act of the movie. And they finally are like ready to go, and they're ready to like,
and they're swinging,
and they're all like giving off their little like famous like whoa, like kind of thing like that. It was something. It made me feel, and it gave me extreme nostalgia, and I love nostalgia. And like I said, I will pay anything to be felt, like to feel. Yeah. I would pay anything to be felt. Oh, we're gonna clip that.
There are places for that.
But that moment was so monumental to me,
right?
Because we were going through this journey of the MCU together, and I had my Spider-Man moment already with my Spider-Man. You had your Spider-Man universe, and then we had our Spider-Man, which was us together. So seeing those three really, really, really hit home to me. And I think if we had to go into DC, there's a lot but cinematically, it's hard not to pick out the Nolan trilogy as the best cinematic DC adaptation of anything. And like so much so that The Dark Knight is even referred to by some people, and like a lot more credentialized people than us two, as cinema, like as one of the best movies that has ever in cinema, like right. But what I will say is that moment for me was, and I love The Dark Knight. Dark Knight's my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
But The Dark Knight Rises, and it's again in the final act.
It's a lot about final acts here.
That's when you find, and you know what? That's when your truest self comes out.
Yeah.
That's when the everything comes out and comes to a head. But for me, it was that moment in The Dark Knight Rises where, you know, Gordon, he's going to sacrifice himself. And then Gordon says, you know, they're not going to know who saved them. Like, we're not going to know who these people are not going to remember their hero. And I know I'm jumbling the words, but he basically looks at Gordon and takes a pause, takes a beat, and says, like, a hero can be anybody, even someone that does something as small as put the coat around a young boy's shoulders to remind him that the world hadn't ended yet. And
beautiful.
And it's like, holy shit, that is like the most amazing thing. And like, that's all that needed to be said to Gordon to know, like, he's like, and I think he even said, he's like, Bruce. He's like, Bruce Wayne, like you of all people, like, and
like that asshole.
Yeah, right. Like, he never told me. But that moment right there, it still chokes me up. Like seeing it, and it's like, that's what being a hero is. Like, that is what it is to be a hero. You don't necessarily need to be, you know, the smartest, strongest, the fastest, or anything like that. But like we said earlier, comfort, reassurance, gratitude, respect, and being the light in some people's darkness. That
goes a long way.
It goes an absolute long way. And speaking about long ways, we have gone a very, very long way in this absolute in this introductory podcast episode.
Inaugural.
In our inaugural podcast episode. So, like we said, Social media platforms are going to come up. We're going to get to a head. Spotify, Apple Music. We're shooting for the stars. We want to be across everything. Everything's going to be at Nerdverse Podcast.
At Nerdverse Podcast.
At Nerdverse Podcast YouTube channel.
At Nerdverse Podcast.
Instagram.
At Nerdverse Podcast.
We have deemed it. So it is ours.
Yeah.
So anybody that comes at it, we're coming at you.
Yeah. So make sure to like and subscribe. It would mean a lot to us, of course.
All right. So that'll do it for our first of many episodes and our first journey through the Nerdverse friends. Again, I'm Jordan.
I'm Josh.
And tune in next time where the nerds speak and the universe listens. And remember, folks, just like Superman, let's fight for truth, justice, and the American way.
And if you ever need a little bit of hope, just remember to look up.
Good night, everybody.